What are the prospects for Russia-US economic cooperation in the Arctic? What have you proposed to the Americans?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think it's very important we have a good dialogue with the U.S. because, as you know, previous administration of President Biden, no dialogue, no discussion, not on politics, not on economics, not on anything. I think the key issue for our discussion with Western powers, including the U.S., is actually climate and climate change and what is happening. Because we believe that Arctic is changing, temperatures are rising, and that creates significant climate effects all over the world. So I think our cooperation on climate is important. But also we are open to consider different investment opportunities that we can do jointly with the U.S., again, in certain sectors approved by the Russian government, approved by our leadership. But once again, we are open for investment cooperation in Arctic, and that could be in logistics, that could be in other areas where, again, it's beneficial to Russia and also beneficial to the U.S.
But before deals can be done, the war in Ukraine needs to end. And many people in the West accuse Russia of dragging its feet, of making no concessions or compromise, just laying down conditions.
Well, first of all, I'm focused on economics and investment, so I don't comment on political issues. But I think the only thing I can say is that we have a very good dialogue. And I think it's very important. U.S. is trying to understand Russian position, understand what can be done, what are the constraints, what is the logic. And I think this is a very healthy approach to really understand what can be done. And there are already very good results. So the stop of heating of energy infrastructure is a major, major result. And frankly, that is a good result for Ukraine. That's a good result, I think, for Russia. It's a good result for the world. And it's the first de-escalation step in the last 3 years. So because of U.S. communication with Russia, we were able to reach the first de-escalation, which is stopping hits on energy infrastructure. The second step is possible resumption of Black Sea grain deal, which again could be important also for the world and for feeding 100 million people in the world. So again, we are trying to figure out steps to realize that deal, and that will also be very important. So I think step by step through dialogue, there is a clear picture how we can move forward politically, but once again, I'm focused on economics and investments.
Do you plan to meet Elon Musk, for example? Do you have economic projects you'd like to discuss with him, maybe in space?
Well, first of all, we believe Elon Musk is a great visionary. He's a great leader. He's a very successful person. He is definitely a historic person of our generation. Secondly, we believe that Russia has a lot to offer for Mars mission because we have some nuclear technologies that I think can be applicable, and there are some video conferences that we believe will be upcoming with let's say, Elon Musk team. So we believe we can cooperate on areas that are good for humanity. And for example, Russia can offer, a small-sized nuclear plant for Mars mission, for Mars, and other technological advanced options. So we believe that cooperation with Elon Musk is important, and we believe that through video conferences, we will actually have eventual meeting as well to move things forward. And also, we believe that Tesla is great and Cybertrucks are great.
Final question. Are you surprised at the speed with which the US has sort of done a U-turn on its position on Russia and Ukraine and Europe? It seems as if when many sort of senior US officials talk, they repeat Kremlin talking points. It's a very different situation to a few months ago.
Well, I would say, again, through dialogue, we can find a solution. And I think what is perceived as Kremlin talking points is actually sometimes, first of all, it's good to understand the position of Kremlin. And it's good to understand the position of the other party to see where there could be compromises and there could be discussions. And secondly, I think only through compromise and discussions can real progress be achieved. We believe that the Biden administration's efforts to really try to unsuccessfully force Russia into strategic defeat that failed, were actually increasing dramatically the risk of World War III. And that is very clear when you don't talk to nuclear power and you try to do a strategic defeat of nuclear power, it definitely creates some risks. I think Trump administration trying to understand and trying to make some steps already led to de-escalation, such as stopping hits on energy infrastructure. Did Biden administration stop hits On energy infrastructure, no, the approach failed. So I think what Trump administration is doing is figuring out solutions, through dialogue, and definitely moving in the right direction. And I think they have a chance to make this conflict resolved much sooner and much better than Biden administration has ever had.
Final, you talk about the agreement to stop hits on energy infrastructure, but there are reports that hits on energy infrastructure continue.
Well, and again, I don't want to go into politics because, of course, Russia has a view who continues hits on energy infrastructure, but I'm not going to even name the party who in Russian view is doing this. I think let's hope that the energy infrastructure truce holds, because this is the first de-escalation step that happened in a long time. We believe it's important foundation for other steps to happen. And let's hope it holds, because again, this is an important foundation, but it takes two parties to ensure that it happens.
Finally, do you get your sense from your discussions with the Americans that Washington is interested in some of these economic deals, in economic cooperation with Russia?
Well, I think US definitely wants the war to end. I think this is a primary focus. We understand that the US actually wants Ukraine to be strong. US wants Ukraine to have a good position in negotiation. So the focus of the US is actually give Ukraine strong position, find some compromises, and stop this. And then economic cooperation, of course, really starts only after the conflict is finished. We understand it. They were very clear on that. And again, we understand that some things they're saying, they may say some nice things, but in reality, they want Ukraine to be stronger and want Ukraine to be in a stronger position in Russian negotiations, and we are aware of that.